If you want to stimulate change and growth, you need to shock the body to a point where it goes, holy shit, we can't do this. Just because we're married and we've got this, this societal thing of marriage and whatever you put on it, every single day, it's my choice, my life. I can do whatever freaking hell I want, I could leave tomorrow. True love and being really content is acknowledging both sides, being okay with them, and sitting in the middle of that. And really having an honest relationship where you're not blindsiding, you're not exaggerating, you're actually really consciously aware of all those bits and you accept them. This is a funny story. So she was not a funny story. She nearly died giving birth to Ruby. And
G'day fellas, before we jump into the pod and talk about how to get good, I thought we should talk about our sponsor, Compound. They are Australia's leading men's health clinic and they're bang on. They've got this weekly newsletter that's free and it provides incredible tips on your health, longevity, performance, as well as recommendations on what to read, products to try out, and things and tips just to help you get good and feel good, which is important too. They've got subscriptions from global suppliers that can get you incredible stuff. I got a pretty decent discount on an ice bath the other day. They've got discounts on supplements and a stack of other stuff as well. It's free. Banger. And thousands of men across Australia are already reaping the benefits from all the great insights and tips that they give you. They discuss topics from everything, including mouth taping. I haven't read that one yet, but I will soon find out if it's bullshit or not. Part of me thinks it is, but it might actually be helpful. They talk about caffeine dosing, optimizing sleep, optimizing workouts, diet protocols, all this stuff that is just incredible to see laid out in an actionable, clear format. Compound.co, head there, sign up, join the fun. Let's get into it. How to get good. On this episode of How to Get Good with me, Michael Bevo Beveridge, I'm joined by Tim Robards, a man who first gained fame on The Bachelor, but has since become a staple of Australian pop culture. He's an actor, he's a model, he's TV presenter, entrepreneur, and he holds the mantle for the most Men's Health Australia covers. No biggie. Today, we'll be diving into his insights on health, injury, maintaining relationships, and how he navigates the process of aging. Let's get into it. Tim, mate, thank you. Welcome to the pod.
yeah, thanks for having me on.
Did you know how that's how the intro was going to go?
Yeah, I wasn't sure where to go, but it makes me look. I'm like, you know what? I've always been good at a lot of things, but like, what's the saying? Master of nothing. So
You're sort of like a specialised generalist.
I keep a good balance. I'm good at a lot of things, but not really good at one thing, which is kind of a blessing and a curse because you can do a lot of things, my life, I go through and I try different things. I'm always trying different things, but I've never been really good at one thing and just been able to stick to that. So I don't know if it's, genetics where you're kind of a chameleon, you can get into everything, but I'll never be an Olympian.
How tall are you?
6'1".
Fucking bastard. Look, I think anyone watching would be like, yeah, this guy's pretty good. Would you describe yourself as pretty good?
Pretty good. I think I keep a good balance in life.
That's balance.
One thing that, like, my little secret weapon is, I don't know if it's because I'm a Libran with the, the scales are inbuilt, but I've always been good at keeping balance in my life, mentally, physically, emotionally, like everything.
You're not the average person, right? You're able to live a life that allows you to train more and focus more. Like, your career was based on your image for a while. So whilst I do say, yes, you look great, you look after yourself, you run a really great balanced lifestyle, what I want to try to sort of get from you is, for the guys like me who are working an office job, who are flat out running between meetings and whatnot, how we can find some of that balance that you've been able to find.
Yep.
And what practices and what suggestions and what mindsets you can give us that sort of obviously don't get us the Robards rigatoni, but perhaps maybe just, get us a feeling of, I'm pretty good.
I was thinking about this the other day in the lead up to this. So first, if you identify your top values, right? It might be climb the corporate ladder, you want to be successful, you want to be respected, whatever that is. You find those things. If fitness isn't in there, if it's behind the top 5, right, you're never really going to make much time for it. What you have to do is you have to tie the link between fitness and health to how it's going to make your top values be even better or get you there quicker.
All right, let's do it. Right, so I'm going to say I want to retire at 60.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have a small hostel in Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to still be perceived as attractive by women in my 50s and 60s, or at least look at myself in the mirror and go, you know, he's all right. Decent snag on the fella. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like those are mine. Like fitness isn't one of them.
Yeah.
But you can tell that fitness underpins one of them.
Yeah.
How
Definitely one of them, like looking good.
Yep.
And if you say whether you're going to be single and you just want to play the field and be that 50-year-old guy who's got money,
I'll have a
minted
partner.
and whatever.
I'll have a partner. I've got my partner.
Yeah,
but I want her like. And this is me.
You want to be desired.
Yeah, and this is me being very real. Like I can be like loyal to my partner, but I can still want to be desired by other people. I think that I don't think that's insane. Is that insane? No. Okay. No. Thank you. Good. Everyone's been quiet.
And you want to still be desired by your partner.
Well, I also want to be honest.
Not just get old.
Because I think if you're not being honest in like what you're at, like what your goals are, like what the fuck's the point? You're just going to be like, oh, I'm not going to achieve anything.
You've got to be a leader. You've got to have people look up to you. You've got to be working efficiently. You've got to be full of energy. Exercise does that. It can take a little while for you to feel that, but if you can get someone to exercise consistently for a month or 2 or 3, they'll start to get you. Exercise for 2 weeks, you may not get there, but if you exercise for a month or 2 or 3, you start to feel what it feels like to have the endorphins, the squashing the stress. You drain it out of your system when you do a workout. There's a difference between training, right, every day and just going through the motions, doing what you're told, as opposed to going to the gym. You've got a goal. You've got a clear goal. You're trying to hit certain numbers, whether it's lifting, squatting a certain amount, or whatever it is. I used to talk about the 11 out of 10 rule. So if you want to get bigger, you want to get stronger, you want to grow, you've got to push to an 11 out of 10. It's like when Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, I only start counting when it hurts. The reps, as in. So you need to, if you want to stimulate change and growth, you need to shock the body to a point where it goes, holy shit, we can't do this. What you're trying to make us do right now, we can't do. If you go to the gym and you lift weights, you get a bit of a burn, you're like, oh, that was hard. It's possibly still not enough to change. It's enough to maintain, not enough to change. You want to change, you've got to push through those barriers, and you don't necessarily do it. And this is kind of, I guess, when you get to 42, you're not going to push every session and push through a barrier, but you still need to push through barriers if you want to move forward.
This is an interesting one that I've been thinking about a lot, right? So like, God bless LeBron James for still doing it and making us feel like maybe we still got a shot. You know what I mean? Maybe we just could pick it up and still like.
How old is he now?
He's turning 40 this year.
Really? Yeah.
Psycho.
Yeah.
Just demented. But then you've got like Tom Brady, like playing an insane, and he was 42, I think, when he was playing. My question is, and you may not be there yet, or maybe you are. When and what do you do when you can't hit the PB anymore? Because like that's the moment of mortality, I suppose.
The goalposts can shift. I find if I go to the gym and I'm not feeling like I'm moving forward, or there's a chance to move forward, I'm unincentivized. Because
it would be hard.
But it's not every session. Sometimes you need a recovery session, or sometimes you just need a chill session, or whatever. But in general, I need to keep moving forward. So sometimes it may be that I go, you know what, my back, I've got bad back issues, knee issues and stuff. They're getting better, but it may be that for 6 months, I need to, instead of trying to push the heaviest squat I need to rehab the knees, build up the conditioning over 6 months. But in the meantime, I'm going to change the goals and make it mobility focused. I want to have greater strength through length, or I might change to, I'll change to bench press as the thing I'm going to work on the most. You can't be trying to push in every single exercise every single day.
No,
but you just change the goalposts a little bit, and sometimes and I've changed things that I've done over the years. So Ninja Warrior for about 2 years was one thing I loved. Every day I'd go to the gym, I'd be training in ninja gyms, and I'd be doing something I've never done before, and it's a little bit scary because you're jumping from high thing to high thing, and you can fall and axe yourself.
Adult play, isn't it? It's like
exactly
adult preschool.
So it's just changing. I've just signed up to jiu-jitsu. That's scary as shit right now, and I'm injuring myself. So I don't just stick at one thing. The goalposts just change, but I'm always moving forward.
How often are you at the gym?
5 days a week, usually.
Talk me through, with the depth you've required, talk me through in the last 10 years where you've been hit by something that could be considered either a grief event or a catastrophic sort of like life incident, and how you maintained or didn't maintain, and like what the self-talk than the self-love was around that moment. It's more pressure for you. Like, you can't really switch it off.
Now, I think I'm the most covered men's health cover guy in Australia. So there's in me, there's this pressure and an image and thing to uphold. Anyway, tore my bicep off the bone probably 6 years ago. So I was doing some gymnastics stuff down at the beach, down at Bondi, doing a back lever.
In front of people
and
too.
Yeah, and I was just chatting to someone, we were doing this little exercise, and I'm like, yeah, I can never quite do this. And I went to do it, and it just went ping. I was like, what the hell? Got up and looked at it, and then started seeing grey, and I'm like, I'm just going to go and sit down for a second. Sat down, then started seeing black, like proper sort of semi-passed out.
Oh, right, I get you.
Yeah, like, so I was going into shock. It wasn't that painful, but I was like...
You could feel the dislodgement.
Why am I all of a sudden seeing grey and black? And I'm like, shit, I've done something pretty... That was the thing that told me I've done something pretty bad, because I can still move my arm.
Really?
But it was like, it looked like that. Instead of going like that, it looked like that. And so then as I kind of came to for a second, I was like, I did the little hook sign so you can get in there and feel the tendon. It was gone. So I said, yeah, someone take me to the hospital. So 3 days later, I'm in surgery, got it reattached by Anna's uncle. You see a little scar there.
Oh, and his uncle's a...
So, yeah, he's a surgeon, luckily. So I got the family discount.
That's nice, mate. Miso with medical too?
I think I've been there like 2 or 3 times now to get things reattached.
Yeah.
You can't straighten your arm for 6 weeks. And I looked at it, and I remember I spoke to someone in the gym, and he's like, he did the same thing. He goes, it took me 1.5 years to do a chin-up. I spoke to someone else. They said, they were 1 year to do a chin-up. I was like, holy shit, I used to have a program, an app at the time, which was all about rings and calisthenics and all that, you know. And so this was like, holy shit, how do I get through this? And so again, this was a big moment where I could have let myself get depressed. I couldn't hardly train at the gym. So I just changed the goalposts, and I said, right, this is what I'm dealing with this, face the facts, I'm dealing with this. Did some research, and what is the quickest that I can get this thing healed and recovered. Now, bone normally takes about 3 months to be 90% grafted and strong, which at that time you could almost do a chin up if you controlled, right? So I started with the big goal of chin up at 3 months. Everyone else I'd spoken to was like 1 year minimum, and I'm like, right, bang, that's my goal.
Are you a challenger naturally?
I need a challenge.
Yeah.
And so I'll go for that. And then, did my first chin up, and I was like, bang, that's good. What's the next thing? So then it was so then the next goal was 1 arm chin up. I did that
on that arm.
On that arm.
What's wrong with you?
I did that at 1 year, so that took a bit longer.
Sure.
But then I did Ninja Warrior 4 months after the 3 months. So that was in that. Once I got to the chin up, I had 4 months to train for Ninja Warrior, where you're single-handed jumping,
imagine you snapped out on
all of that. And there was a few times where I'd be hanging, and I heard this like. And I think it was just scar tissue ripping.
Oh, there's something wrong in your head, brother. That's insane. If you had to briefly describe the fitness influencer social landscape when you started versus the fitness influencer landscape now, how would you sort of describe it?
I reckon I feel less confident now giving suggestions, because what I've seen over time is that there are, initially people get on and they'd swing you the latest bloody snake oil and this and that, and there was no science behind what they're saying. That's still there as well.
Yeah.
But I've become more conscious of that, and I don't want to suggest something unless I know that it is full on scientifically backed up, and people will spruik science, but it's so cherry picked, and you could, for every bit of science they pick something else. And I just now, the landscape is, there's so much stuff out there. So for me, a lot of times when I talk, I might be specific and go, right, this works for me, but I can't say, hey, you should do this.
Surely that's the caveat for everyone. You know what I mean? It's annoying that you have to sort of be like...
Yeah, but I mean, I guess there's so many people out there, especially when you're getting paid by, and I've had the same thing where companies with protein powder companies, whatever, will come to you and go, can you spruik this product? I would never promote something I didn't believe in, but at the same time, you also don't want to overpromise what it's going to do. But every bit of content out there, people are going, this thing's going to do this thing, this next best thing since sliced bread.
What I'm seeing is people who speak in absolutes are getting more followers, which is fucking frustrating, because it shows that they don't really have the respect to be like...
They're controversial, and their comments will get...
lamb testicles, it's better for you. It's like, well, fucking hold a second, Libby King.
Because the algorithm, you're going to put up a controversial
it's firebrand, right?
People will comment, and it pushes your content up, and people either love you or hate you, you're going to get seen.
I hate it.
So if you come in and you're more pragmatic and you're like, oh, so if you do this, you might do that, your shit's not going to get seen.
Well, let's play a little game.
But it's the most honest and it's the best way. I think ethically you should.
I agree.
About it, so.
But let me tell you what isn't ethical: the algorithm, right? And like, what's also not ethical is like having to pay more. It is ethical, but like paying your mortgage doesn't care about ethics, right? So if you've got to make money and the algorithm suggesting be absolute about what you say and like don't put much clinical thought into it.
I think I try myself, and maybe on a point that I want to be able to sleep at night, so I always try and put my integrity first, and if anyone ever questioned it, I can always stand by what I've said.
You've also got a fair decent like innings behind you.
Yeah, that helps. And I just think, I don't know, from the get-go, if you start off and you might make money for 6 months or a year, but then you lose trust because people then look and go, oh shit, you actually just lied to me, or you did all that for 6 months. So you might be big for 6 months, but I think one of the reasons why I'm still, kind of, I guess, have an impact is for 10, 11 years in the media now is because I've kept that integrity and I've kept my ethics.
Let's play a game called Tim Toss or Tim True. I'm going to give you a fitness trend.
Yep.
And you just tell me if you give it the Tim Tick or the Tim Toss,
okay.
Right?
Yep.
Ice baths.
Tick.
Ashwagandha.
Ooh, tick. It's in my wife's product. Into wellness. Plug her there.
HIIT training.
Tick.
F45.
Look, tick. But I think, we'll get into that more.
Zone 2 training.
Tick. But don't get hung up on it.
BMI.
Yeah, maybe toss it.
That's good. Keto.
Not as in ketamine, you mean keto?
Just do it. Keto.
My wife actually had to get on the ketamine. This is a funny story. So it's not a funny story. She nearly died giving birth to Ruby. And
funny story.
One of the good uses of ketamine is it was the first time the doctor had used it in 3 years, and he said we had to put you on it because it's one of the things that maintains your vitals, but can knock you out. So she'd lost so much blood. And
she got chopped in the K-hole.
Yeah, just put her in the K-hole.
Keto.
Like that, I would recommend it. But anything else, no. Keto. Look, I think I wouldn't live in it, but I think it has its purposes. And it can be a great kind of reset, a great detox.
Psychedelics.
I never tried myself, but I see a lot of people talking about a lot of benefit.
Ayahuasca.
Tim
Robards' ayahuasca trip on Channel 10. I would watch the shit out of that, dude.
I've not felt myself the need to do that, but I definitely, I think there's people out there who it's changed their life. So, I think there's positives for it.
The quest for body recomposition.
Recomposition in what way?
In terms of is it an attainable outcome, gaining mass while also losing fat?
Yeah, for sure.
It's achievable to Dave, 37, logistics procurement manager in
for sure
in Newcastle.
Yeah.
Doesn't require too much effort.
It require a bit. Like I said, you got to push 11 out of 10 if you want your body to change. But initially, it depends where you come from as well. So if you come from eating so much shit and doing no movement, even just a little bit of movement and backing off a little bit of shit might make a big difference. Whereas if Dave is kind of eating perfectly and does a fair bit of movement, but then wants to add on, then his changes might come a little slower. So it kind of depends what your foundation is, where you're coming from, as to how quickly those results and how far you can go will change. And then your genetics and stuff as well.
Okay, let's jump back to you're at the pub with your dad. Mm-hmm. He's like, I just wish there was one diet thing I could do to lose some kgs. Yep. The most effective thing that I could practically do. Yep. What's the one thing?
Well, I used to have we still have it. It's called 7-2-1. So on your plate, so 70% of the week you would have plates with foods that you can identify in their whole food form.
Okay, so nothing processed, nothing processed. Right. Okay, 70%, 20%
is relaxed.
Ketamine?
So that 20% relaxed. So that's where you have a little bit of processed stuff, but you're still smart about it. So say you want to have spaghetti bolognese, don't just have meat and pasta. Throw in some grated zucchini.
Grated carrots.
Yeah, like just balance it out a little more, but you can still have those comfort foods.
How's my brain thinking pasta was a whole
What do you
food?
think? What's 10%?
I was like, a 10% pingers, bro. Like, I assume it's like, that's
whatever you want. That's whatever you
That's
want.
not a bad diet.
Yeah. So that's sustainable. You can do that if you look at your week and you balance your week out like that.
How many
that's
meals? Well, there's
sustainable.
14 meals in a week. So that would be
3 a day,
Oh,
so
yeah,
21.
okay, it's 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I have a protein bar and a black coffee till about 2 p.m. That we were talking about this idea of like Prince, what is it? Eat like a king for breakfast, a prince for lunch, and a pauper for dinner. That was sort of like one of the things that we were told, and there's so many different diet options.
Yeah, I would get the simple one would be, say for my dad, right? I'd go, right, maybe try some intermittent fasting. But like in doing that, say you push your break fast, just don't break fast at 7 a.m, try and push it to 12. So then you'll probably end up eating just 2 meals a day. You might have a little snack in between, but then you do need to focus, try and make those 2 meals a little healthier, a little less processed.
Look, this
don't
is
have to be crazy healthy, but in doing that, you're already going to most likely drop some calories during your day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, calories in versus calories out. It's true. Calorie is not a calorie. Like if you're eating 1,000 calories of sugar versus 1,000 calories of protein, it's going to do different things to your body and your hormones. But eat a little cleaner, do a bit of intermittent fasting. That's a pretty simple way to start making some changes.
I always say the best decision I ever made was switching to black coffee. Because I was drinking 4 lattes a day. I added up. That's saving me 400 calories a day.
Yep, it's huge.
And that's an F45
Liquid calories are some of the worst for you. Like that's the way to sneak in so many calories. So decrease the liquid calories in your life. So more, I'm drinking soda water with it's got a little bit of raspberry flavoring.
I think it's still 0 calories, isn't it? Would you suggest, and again, like we don't have to talk about this too much, but like you have a good home life? Like it's, you seem like a great couple, right? I don't want to be like a pin-up couple, but like you are a couple that we all know, right? How maintaining... Firstly, you're both fucking rigs, so like it's easier for you two, I think, but like you can be, you get used to someone. Like, I'm looking at you and I'm like, fuck, Tim's a rig. I'm sure Anna's like, I've seen this every single day. I've seen him with gastro in Bali. I've seen him, she's like I've seen him at all forms.
And vice versa.
And vice versa, absolutely, right?
Yep.
So like maintaining, I guess, because like sexuality is such an important thing for like a functioning relationship. And this isn't prying into that. It's more, how are you like respectful of like being both busy people, being both sort of like parents as well, but like maintaining that like key factor of like a relationship?
A couple of things. I think I have to do more of it, but we do try and do this. But you've got to it's just priorities again. You've got to make priorities to have a bit of you time. Might be a date night here and there. One thing we do is we feed the kids before and they go to bed, then we eat after. So Anna and I eat together and have that bit of time to chill. We don't sort of eat with the kids, blah, 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 and then it's just bang, watch TV. So like we have that time almost daily with each other. Our work, we're in and around each other during the day, but that's a big one, just making a bit of time for yourself. But then the other thing is I have to remind myself that, and we've talked about this in the past, that just because we're married and we've got this, this societal thing of marriage and whatever you put on it, every single day, it's my choice, my life. I can do whatever the freaking hell I want, I could leave tomorrow. Just walk out the door, bang, probably they'd chase me down for child payments or something, but I could leave tomorrow. Every day we actually choose to stay with each other.
Is that a internal mindset from you, or you and Anna have sort of like discussed the pragmatic reality of like
both? It's kind of just the reality, like we've kind of had to say, like, at the end of the day, yes, we did this marriage thing and we're not stuck together. We actually make a choice. And I think when you remind yourself of that every single day it's a choice to stay together, because we could make a choice not to be together. It's a choice to stay together. Do
you want to hear an interesting...
And it does, some way keeps you on your toes.
This is interesting, right? I saw someone talking about we should approach, like, obviously marriage, archaic, an insane concept, right? Yep. And it's not really worked out very well. Someone suggested we should approach marriages and partnerships like sports contracts, because we all know how important and what better someone plays on like their contract year. Like you enter into like a 3-year agreement, and at the end of that 3 years, you sit down and you have a conversation, and you're like, I'd like to extend this contract. And sometimes you'll be a one club player. Sometimes you'll be a one club player, but if not, like there isn't this like if we don't stick to it, it's a failure. And like the pressure of like succeeding to everyone else. I just really like this idea of like conscious partnerships.
And I think that's exactly that. That's in a longer term. Like this is almost doing it every day, where you're going, right, today I get up, I choose to be with you, I choose to stay with you. And there are some days where you don't want to though. There's days where you don't want to, that happens. And then sometimes you gotta, there's times where I might slack on things, she might slack on things, and you've got to be able to, communication is the biggest thing for a successful relationship. So if you have good communication and you can approach things and have a conversation.
What's good communication look like to you?
It means listening and understanding, putting yourself in the other person's shoes, getting away from your own things and being able to understand if Anna comes to me and she's got something that is bothering her, just because it doesn't bother me, I can't just shut it down. I've got to listen.
I'm so guilty.
I've got to understand understanding her values. And I think if you're in a relationship where your top values and your partner's top values are just not aligned, you're going to be pushing shit uphill. You're going to be butting heads.
Because the chances are when you met, you probably had similar values.
And that was one of the things. I'd done a lot of work before meeting her on values and understanding values and what I want in the partner. And in the past, I'd been with people, and when you look back, you go, why was it not working? Why was I doing my head in? Why was I just always in conflict? It's because our values didn't align. And as much as you want your values to align, like initially when you're in a relationship, it's all about infatuation, which is blindsiding yourself to the differences. And then down the track, it can be resentment, which is blindsiding yourself to the similarities. So it's blindsiding yourself to one side, but exaggerating the other. So when we first meet, you're like, oh, she's this, she does that. And you blindside yourself to all the other stuff, And so true love and being really content is acknowledging both sides, being okay with them, and sitting in the middle of that, and really having an honest relationship where you're not blindsiding, you're not exaggerating, you're actually really consciously aware of all those bits and you accept them. So if you're trying to change someone from day one, it's a bad sign. Get out of there. If you can change yourself and there's something you're going to move in a more positive direction, you learn from someone else who's challenging you, because we're there to challenge each other. If Anna and I was just in this happy-go-lucky relationship, we never challenged each other, it'd be boring as fuck as well. So we challenge each other to be better. If we got to a point where we're challenging each other and that person's making you worse, that's when you want to get out of that relationship.
Now, did she challenge you sort of to go into like the wine game or like to start other options, or was that like an internal Tim challenge?
That was an internal thing. I think I probably challenge her more at the moment than she challenges me. So she's gone into her own business, and she's always one that's been she's happy, tell me what to do, I'll do it, rather than going out, having the confidence in herself to start something and be proactive and do it on her own. When you see the potential in someone not living to their fullest potential, especially if it's because they're a little bit scared or they're a little bit you've got to come at the right angle. That goes back and forth. But Anna definitely supports me. Especially the acting was a big one, right? So when I got onto Neighbours, that we just got married, landed 2-year role. Well, it wasn't 2 years at the time, it was 3 months. Just bought a home, just got married, and then I'm out of there 5 days a week, and I usually...
That's for Neighbours, bro. No, that's fine. You do anything for Neighbours.
That was good. And then, I'd had a different wife down there, so I'd go down there, I'd have a wife, I'd have to walk in and go, hey, honey, how are you? Mwah, mwah.
Who was your wife?
April Rose Pengilly.
For anyone not aware, April Rose Pengilly is Kurt Pengilly's daughter, Kurt from In Excess. Lovely woman, April as well. Who's got the best secret rig on Neighbours?
Best secret rig? Ooh. You know what Toadie goes through?
Dude, Toadfish Rebecca is one of the nicest humans.
Yeah, Ryan goes through different things where he'll be training really hard, and then he might relax a bit, and then he trains really hard again. Yeah, so dude, he's got a bit of muscle under there.
Here's a nice story about Toadie. Yeah. We shot an ad 6-7 years ago when we wanted him in the spot, just as a little cameo. And we were it was for Koala.
Yep.
So I was like, bro, we got it was either $5,000 or $10,000.
I
Just
remember that.
come in for an hour or something, and just get in bed with the founders and like do a little. We're like, we don't do celebrity cameos, and then it pops out, right? And he was like, sure, I'll come in, easy to do it. Perfect guy on set, walks in, has a good laugh, does it. And at the very end, he goes, don't worry about the money, just send it to this charity. And then he left.
How good, yeah.
Toadfish for Becky.
Nice.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And he lives out at like he lives ages away.
Yeah.
So he tracked it all the way in with his kids, did a little spot.
Yeah. How nice.
Oh man, I love that dude.
Yeah.
One of the all-time greats.
Yeah. And I think he just left. Yeah.
It's not neighbours without Toady.
It's been a long innings. Yeah.
Been nearly 30 years or something.
Yeah.
Surely he's got long service leave.
Maybe more, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's an interesting one. I want to go back to like, are you a businessman?
I feel that I am, yeah. Run a few businesses, some of them not so successful, some of them more.
Do you think you're a good businessman? Or do you at least know how to like support what you're not good at?
Yeah, I'm always learning. Yeah. I think I'm okay.
How's the wine?
It's good. It's good. We sold out in 2 months last year. We only did a small run.
Where's the vineyard?
So the vineyard is in Young, New South Wales, so just outside Canberra district. So
interesting.
So
nice
they make good
good
Grenache, good cool climate grape, growing
Pinot.
area. I don't know if they do much Pinot. They should if it's cool climate, but we do Grenache out of there.
I love a Grenache.
It's bloody good. Makes a good Provence style, French style rosé.
Crisp, nice little.
Yeah. It started off. It was never like the good thing. Why I enjoyed it so much. It wasn't a business. It wasn't like I need to create a business to make money. The day my daughter was born, Elle, I was holding her in my arms, and I'm just like, I was in that like high on oxytocin and the love drug, and
You're going to be a bottle of wine, little darling.
I'm like, I want to make something in.
It looks like you're holding a bottle of wine right now, dude.
I was like, I want to make something exactly the same. Maybe the neck's a little thinner.
Yeah, a little.
But I was like, I want to make something in her name, and it just something. I was thinking a few things, and then I was like, bang, rosé, pink, it's feminine. El Rosé, and it just clicked, and I'm like, right, I want to do that, I'm going to do that. And so over the next 3 years, I made the connections and found the winemaker, the grape growers, my mate who's a sommelier, who's my business partner, and we made it happen. And we've got a beautiful label, which is
it matters.
One of the big points.
It matters.
Had a little trademark issue last year. We got through that.
El would have been tough. I would have thought that would have been a popular name for a rosé.
Yeah. We had quite a big company named El come and try.
The magazine.
Well,
no, not to say anything. Wouldn't say anything.
But
well, they didn't. Guess who had to take the L on that one?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, at least we won that one. So we're good to go. We own the trademark now for L.
Very good.
Wine and alcohol. So yeah.
Well, look, Tim, this has been a joy, and I think my initial preconceived notions about you were that like, this guy's going to be, because we have like everyone's aware of you. You know what I mean? But I think your connection with like positive masculinity is like really apparent. It's been really wonderful to hear what drives you to be good and what got you good. Forward to, I'm not allowed to drink anymore, but like the boys will taste the rosé and we'll see how we go.
Yeah, I'll send you the bottle. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much,
Cheers.
mate.